Here is part 2 of slopes of perpendicular lines. And here's example 1. Determine if the lines are perpendicular. Notice I have x is equal to -2, y is equal to 1. When you see equations like these, where you don't see a slope, you don't see a y-intercept, these are just constant lines. That means that they either don't have a slope or their slopes are undefined. Okay, so let's look at x equal to -2. If I were to plot x equal to -2 on my graph, I would have to stop right here at -2. And when it says x is equal to -2, that just means that x is equal to -2 always. That's a vertical line. That means it's a line that goes through that point -2 forever. Okay? No matter what the y value is, this will be -2. I'm trying to make this line straight. Okay. So this line that I just drew, that line is called x equals -2. Okay? Y equal to 1. Y equal to 1 is right here. It is a horizontal line. Okay? When you have x equal to -2, vertical line. Y equal to 1 is a horizontal line and it passes through this point. Let's make it another color. So that means it's a vertical line that goes through, whoops, sorry about that. I didn't select my line tool. Here it is. So it goes through this point forever. And I can extend this right to the other side like that. Okay. There is your line y equal to 1. And I wanted to draw these two lines just so that you can see that they intersect, but they don't just intersect. They intersect at exactly 90 degrees. So what I want you to notice here is that any line that is a vertical line and another line that is a horizontal line, they will always, always, always intersect at 90 degrees. So they will always be perpendicular. There. That's the symbol for perpendicular right there. Okay, so vertical lines, always. Vertical lines always intersect horizontal lines perpendicularly. Okay? That means they are perpendicular lines. Horizontal lines will always intersect vertical lines at 90 degrees. So whenever you see this, yes, they are perpendicular. Okay, now let's do another example. Here are two more equations. And I'm asking you, are these two lines perpendicular to each other? Well, let's check their slopes. The slope for this one, this is in slope-intercept form. Here's slope-intercept form, mx plus b. And I can easily see that the slope for this equation is -1/5. And this equation is written in point slope form, in this form. So I can easily see that the slope is 5 for this line. So how do I know if these two lines are perpendicular without having to graph them? Well, you take the slopes and you multiply them together. Like we said in our previous video. 5, remember 5 is over 1. This is this slope and this is the other slope, and we multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. That gives you -5/5, which is -1. If you multiply the slopes and you get -1, then that means that the lines are perpendicular. And you say, yes, they are perpendicular. And here's the symbol for perpendicular. Okay? If you don't want to write that long word. Okay, and here's one last example. These two equations. I want to know if they are perpendicular, these lines. So let's look at the slope. The slope for this one is 2/3, so m is equal to 2/3. The slope for this one is -3/2. Let's multiply them together and see if we get -1. So I get 2/3 times -3/2. Notice, since I'm multiplying, I can cross cancel 2 with 2 and get a 1 and a 1. And I can cross cancel 3 and 3, and I get a -1 here and a 1 here, because this was originally negative. And that will give you 1 times -1, -1, and 1 times 1, 1, and that equals -1. So since our product is -1, that means that these two lines are perpendicular. If you do not want to cross cancel, you can also do the following. Let me erase this. Let me multiply the slopes. I can also do this, 2/3 times -3/2. Numerator times numerator, -6, and denominator times denominator, +6, and -6/6 is equal to -1. Okay? So the slopes product is -1. These lines are perpendicular, and that's how you determine. I hope these examples have helped you determine when two lines are perpendicular. And I will see you in the next video, where I will give you different equations, and you have to tell me if they're parallel or if they are perpendicular. I'll see you in the next video.